Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Wendy here from Little Nest Crafts. Thank you for joining me this evening, and it's good to have you with me. Tonight's video is a bit of an experiment for me. I've never actually done this before, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this image from Rachandbella Crafts. It's one of Rachandbella Crafts kits, and it's called Summer Simples. And in July, from the 1st of July to the 21st of July, I was involved in a collaboration that Rachel and Bella were running, and the guest designer that was in the collaboration was Angela Kerr, and between them they produced two beautiful kits which you can find on their websites, and all the information will be below in the information box below this video, where you can have a look at their kits and purchase them if you're interested. So I'll put Angela's information and Rachel's information below, and this is one of the pages from the kit, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, it's all quilted birds, and I thought they were absolutely stunning. Now, I made a little journal as part of the collaboration, and there is a video in my playlist if you want to see the little journal I made. It was a flip-flop journal, and it contains these birds. What I did, I printed them two to a page, so they're half the size of what they are on this image. But what I've done is I thought these would be lovely to embroider and to print out on some cotton material. So that's what I'm going to have a go at. I've never actually printed on fabric before, and I wasn't sure whether my printer would cope with it because it's a fairly new printer, and I've never run anything bar for copy paper and card through it. So I thought I would give it a go, and I had a look on the internet for some inspiration a while back. This was because this idea I've had in the back of my mind for a while. So if I can find the person that showed me the idea of printing onto copier paper, then I'll put her details below. But thank you, whoever it was, because I thought it was a fab idea. So to do this, all you need is your cardstock. Now I'm using 160 GSM cardstock. I'm not sure what that is converted into the Americanized weight measurement of paper. Let me just see, I have got a conversion chart somewhere, but whether I can actually lay my hands on it right this moment, it's not actually where I thought it might be. Let me just have a look. No. So if I look it up for you, I'll put that in the details below as well. So all I've done is I've got a big roll of double-sided tape here, and this has been left over from my card making days, and I bought it from Create and Craft. So that's how it came, just wrapped up in some cellophane. So I don't know, oh yeah, inside it's from Wild Spider Designs. I don't know if you can see that inside there. Wild Spider Designs .co.uk, and all I've done is I've peeled it back and I've put it on a piece of plain white cardstock. So I'm just going to move this out the way to one side, and as you can see here, I've cut my sheeting, and it's just a plain old cotton, you know, bed sheet that I've been using for scraps, and I've just laid it down on my cutting board, and I've not ironed it or anything, and all I've done is smooth it out and laid the cardstock on it, and it's very, very sticky. So I was hoping that it would go through my printer. Now the only thing I need to tell you is, if you have a go at doing this, some printers just print straight out. So mine, I have to turn this over, because what happens is my papers go through the rollers and it gets printed on, and it comes out like that from my machine. So I need to put mine in my tray flat down, and I don't put anything else in with it. I just put this one sheet, because I don't want it to get jammed with any other pieces of paper. But before I do that, I need to get my sharp scissors, and I need to trim off all these extra edges. So we shall do that and try and get as close to the edge as you can, so that it doesn't cause any mishaps in your printer. And you also need to remove any of the threads that you might get. So that's one edge, and as you can see there, I've missed a little bit. So try and make it as neat and tidy as you can. There's a bit there I've not cut properly, so get that right down to the edge of the cardstock. Oops, I've cut the card, but it doesn't matter, because my images aren't going to be right on the edge of this paper. So as you can see, we can't see yet. Oops, today I've cut the cardstock again as well. Not to worry. Oops. There we go. So do that with all four sides. There we go. Tidy up. And then I'm going to run that through my printer, as I say, face down. Just get that little edge. Try not to leave any fibres sticking out, because you don't want any fibres being left behind in your printer. Another little bit there. And then what will happen is, I'll show you the one I prepared earlier, is that, so it was actually stuck to the card, and it's gone a bit frayed where I've, you know, peeled it off the card, and I was really pleased with that. So what I've actually done is, my plan is to back these. So what I did, I put two of the images on, because as I said, it comes like that. Now my sheet was a bit off-white, hence that these aren't really, they're not as bright as you can see as that image there, because you can see my sheets not a brilliant white. So these are more of a an aged effect. And so what I've done is I chose two of the images from here, which was this one and this one, and I've sort of isolated them, and I've saved that image and that image into my computer, and I've made them a bit larger. And so what I've done is when I put them in, into my computer, I flipped the image, one of each of the images over, and made sure that they were the same size, and so that I've got a front and a back. And I'll show you what my plan is. I don't know whether it will work, but you can either use these as appliques to go on your, for slow stitching, or to go on quilts, which would be a great idea. Or, in your slow stitch projects, you can stitch around them and put them in your in your projects. But my plan is to make some little stuffed hanging birds, to hang up if you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these two out now, like this. And you could make these into pockets. You could have these as little pockets in your journals. All you'd need to do is edge the top there, and you've got a nice little fabric pocket. And same again, do your edging around the edges just to neaten them, or you could fray them if you like, and just trim off those frayed bits there. And you've got some nice little rustic looking pockets for your journals. But my plan is to put them back to back. So I don't know if you can see, but on the image itself there's like a cream border. So my plan is to follow that little cream border there with the scissors, and I'll show you what I mean now. So I'm going to fussy cut round and just take your time. And I've gone about 1/8 of an inch outside that cream border, just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room, as it were. We'll go around the beak. There we go, I'm concentrating, I've gone quiet again, so forgive me for that. So that's the first one. There we go. Clear the decks. And then I'll just put this one to one side. And then we'll do the same with this one. So you've got it in reverse. So same again. Going just a little way outside the creamy edge. And round the beak. There we go. And it's fairly simple. You just need to take your time, because obviously one slip of the scissors and you could snip his tail off or his beak off or something like that. So just do it nice and slowly. We've got all the time in the world. So there we go. Round his little feet. Now I'm just going to snip there so my material doesn't get caught. And we'll just do a little heart shape round the bottom of his feet. So there we go. So that's the two little birds. And then with some dressmaker pins, I'm going to put them inside out for the time being, like that. And it's not a perfect fit, but because we've gone round the border a little bit, because we've gone round, we've given it a border around the cream outline, as I say, we've got a little bit of playroom. So what I'm going to do now is pin these two together. And you can either do it with pins, or if you've got some dressmaker's clips like these, you can use these to hold your two edges together. Try and get them together if you can by looking at your seams. It's the inside, because there's a slight difference. It's the inside of the design that I'm looking at, really, because you want them to match up together as best as you can. Now, because they're quite large, I'm going to stick with my pins, I think. And what I'll do is I'm going to pin them that way so that these bobbly ends don't interfere with my sewing. There we go. And then we'll pop one there too. And we'll get his legs together as well. And pin his chest, like so. Now then, I'm going to leave part of it open as well, and I'm going to sew this on my sewing machine because I can see the outline of the bird. It'll just be a bit tricky when I come to his feet. So I think I'm going to leave that bit open at the bottom there, or shall I leave that side open? Yeah. Yeah, so just bear with me, give me 5 minutes, and I'll be back and we'll have a look and see how it's turned out. Now then, I've just had a thought. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll stick with this one. I was just thinking it might be wise to do the embroidery first. I'm just going to take these pins out a sec and I'll show you what I mean. Now, as you can see, this has been embroidered around these edges, and the flowers are all embroidered as well. So just bear with, and I'm going to get the needle and my embroidery threads. Right, I've got my threads and I've got some ecru in colour, and I've split the fibres just so that I'm using 2 pieces of the thread, and I'm just going to thread my needle, and my eyesight is hopeless, so I'm using a little needle threader, and there we go. So I'll just make a little knot in the bottom, and then I think I'm going to start at his beak. And I'm just going to do a running stitch or a back stitch over the stitches on the you know, on the printout. So that makes it nice and easy, but just don't pull your stitches too tight, because you want your material to stay nice and flat and not be puckered. So just bear with me while I go around the edge. And with a back stitch, it's really simple. Once you've done your knot, you come up through your material and then go down. That's your first stitch, and then with your second stitch you've gone down with your needle and you come up a short distance away, and then you go backwards into the stitch that you've just done. So as you can see there, I'm continually going back into the previous stitch through the same hole, or as near as you can. And as you can see, I'm not pulling it in any way tight, but you want it to be fairly flat. You know, you don't want your stitches to be too loose, that's what I'm trying to say, but not too tight either, so that they sit nice and snug on your material. And it's a while since I've done any sewing. I used to do a lot of cross stitch and embroidery when I was younger, and then where I lived before, there was a night class to do bobbin lace, so I did a year's worth of bobbin lace, but then I moved back to Wales, and when I first arrived back in Wales, I did look for a class so that I could carry on, but I never managed to find one. But then I was fortunate, when I went on the retreat, somebody gave me details of a bobbin lace class in Cowbridge. So I was going to go along to take that back up, but it's quite away from, well, it's sort of a fair distance from here, and it was winter, and I don't like driving in the dark nights and all that. So unfortunately I never went, and time goes on, and I've been enjoying my journal making that you know, I've not sort of picked it back up, but I ought to really, because I've got some beautiful antique bobbins and they're just sat in a cupboard. Because as well as enjoying doing the lace, I also enjoyed collecting the bobbins, and I used to go to lace days, and each lace society used to do a commemorative bobbin. So when you used to visit these lace days, you could buy that year's bobbin, and you know, you start doing collections and things. So I might do a video one day, because I've got hundreds of bobbins, and you know, just share with you. That's if you're interested in seeing them. So, you know, if you are interested, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do a haul video of all my bobbins. Some of them are actually antiques, and years ago they used to make them out of cow bones, and you know, you got lovely inscriptions on them, and often men would, you know, buy them for their loved ones, and husbands would buy them for their wives, and they'd commemorate the birth of the children and all sorts. And they also commemorated things like hangings. So you can, they're very difficult to come by, but there are still a few antique bobbins, you know, that you can see at collectors' fairs and things, with the dates of, you know, when these people were hung. Quite macabre, really. And then when Prince Charles got married and to Diana, you know, there was bobbins made to commemorate those, and you know, those days. So yeah, I've got some quite interesting ones. Some of them are hand painted, some of them made out of different woods, so you can get collections of different woods, you know, like apple wood and elm and oak, and which are nice, and some of them have got the different grains showing. And as I say, some are hand painted, and not only the bobbins, I don't know if you know, but the lace bobbins have to be weighted down on a cushion, And so you have what they call a spangle on the end, which consists of a few beads, and it goes through the end of your, they go through your bobbin, and they're held in place with a little wire. And that becomes quite a collector's thing as well, because you can get some with, semi-precious stones on the end. You get glass beads. You get, obviously, your plastic beads. You get all manner of beads, really. You can get things that dangle from the end with the beads, like little elephants and things like this. So yeah, it gets to be quite a collector's. You get addicted to it, really. Sort of trying to look for them and make them interesting, so that they look interesting on your piece of lace while you're working on it. So now then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to carry on sewing around this one, and I'm not going to keep you watching me, because I'm not a fast sewer, and I shall come back when I've sewn round each of these pieces. Okay, right, I've actually backstitched all the way around both of those birds now, as you can see. Not very neat, but my eyesight's not brilliant. So I think what I'm going to do now is do some pink. So we'll pop that down there for a moment. I've used all my Ukraine, so I'll put that back in there to remind me to order another skein. And then we want a nice pale pink colour. So let's have a look what we've got. Now these ones are actually variegated, so they might be a bit dark looking at those. It's a soft pink I want. That's sort of a peachy pink. That's more the colour, I think. So we'll have a look. There we go. Now then, I'll take all of that off there, and I'll just get myself 2 pieces. Or maybe just lay it out there for now. And I think I'm going to do 3 threads, if I can, if it'll go through my needle. My needle's quite a small eye, so it might not take all 3 to go through, but we'll have a go and see. Pop that through there. Oh yeah, it's done it. That's good. And then we'll embroider one of these flowers, and we'll have a look and see what they look like. So all I'm going to do is start at the edge there. Oops, not a very good start. Start at the edge and go to the centre, not the sticking to my fingers, not to the dead centre, but just to the end of that petal there, and then come alongside it. So really simple stitches. Oh, and I'm getting cramp in my fingers now. Oh. So go alongside it and down next to the one that you've just done. Oops. Now normally when you're doing embroidery you work with a ring, but you know, and you put your material so that it helps you keep your material at an even tension, so your threads stay nice and flat. But I haven't got a ring that's this small. So we're just going up and down, trying to keep as close to the previous stitch as you can. Following the outline of the picture below on your material. Yeah, it's coming. If you can see there, look. And I'm starting on the next petal then. So it's going in a slightly different direction. It's a tiny petal, this one. Oops. If you think that you've pulled a stitch too tight, just go underneath it with your needle and pull it a bit, and then you can reposition it then, rather than carry on. Otherwise you'll squash your, you know, your embroidery underneath. There we go. Changing direction again now for the next one. And I'm just keeping an eye on the video because we're 40 minutes into it now, so I might have to put you on pause because I still haven't fathomed out how to speed up the video. So that's that petal done, and then we're going over to the next petal now. There we go. So down into there. Oopsie daisy. And try not to get your threads tangled around your needle. Otherwise you'll make a knot unintentionally. So there we go, and it's going smaller again now. We're coming up to the final petal. No, I've caught that seat. There we are. What's gone on there? I think I'm going to have to undo that bit. I think I caught the thread. There we go. Let me just have a look. Pop that through there. Oops. There we go. Right, I'm just going to put you on pause a sec. Welcome back everybody. Sorry about that, my camera died. The battery went flat, so I've had to charge it. But while it's been charging, I've actually finished embroidering these two little birds. Bring it up closer to the camera so you can see. So very rustic looking. So I've done this little rosebud, the flower, the little part underneath there, and I've just done little centres, and I've done French knots on that one, and I've left the feet, and I've coloured the beak in brown, and I've done the same there, the little rosebud, and just done the pink flowers. It's got a bit frayed with handling it. So now the plan is to put right sides together like we were doing at the beginning of the video, and then pop some pins in to keep things in place as best we can. Go, and I've decided to leave this part open along his back or her back so that I can put some kapok filling in. I mean, you can hand sew around these, but my eyesight's not brilliant, and I thought, well, it'll be neater and quicker to pop it on the sewing machine. So I shall be back in a minute. I'm just going to quickly sew around and leave a gap at the top there. Right, I'm back, everybody, and this is what I've got so far. As you can see, I've stitched all around it, and that's my little opening to put some kapok in. And it's not turned out too badly, I don't think. But the only thing is, I had to sew around the bottom of the legs because there wasn't enough material to do a seam. So all I'm getting now is an embossing tool so that I can stuff the kapok inside this little bird to give it some dimension. So I won't overfill it, and we can just help that along by poking it right up to the corners. There we go. Surprising how much it takes. There we go. That's about right, maybe just a fraction more. And if you just squash it a little bit. Yeah, just get a little bit more. There we go. Want him to be a nice plump little bird. Just needs a bit more around his tail to stop his tail collapsing. Still a little bit more. Excuse me, one moment. Here we go. to make sure that the front of his face is nicely stuffed as well, so that you can see his little beak. There we go. That's better. And there we are. So now all I've got to do now is sew the back up. So I'll do that off camera, and then I'll show you the finished product. Right then, everybody, here's the little bird, and he's all stitched up. So minus his legs, but you could actually put little beads. I might put some seed beads in these little flowers, and I could have embroidered the leaves as well, but I just wanted to show you that for quickness. But his beak's matched up fairly well from the front. If you look at him there, his eyes are fairly matching. But I think next time I would make him a lot bigger, make her a lot bigger, should I say, because it's quite fiddly. And also I recommend that you leave a bigger border around the cream area than I did, because trying to get those edges together on the sewing machine was quite difficult. So you could actually use this as a little pin cushion, you know, to stick your pins in. But what I did intend on doing was popping a loop of ribbon around here so that you could hang it up. But I think it is a bit on the small side for something like that, so I think I'll unless you know, made a few of them and you could have like a little mobile effect. But yeah, and I think next time I would do it on a really crisp white sheet, not one that's gone, you know, as an old bed sheet, because it does look a bit, the colours aren't quite as vibrant as they are on the paper. But anyway, that's my little embroidered bird. Hope you like it, and hope you'll join me on my next video. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye.